Come on board the death yacht with me because it's time to talk about the finale of Succession. Let's get started. Hello, my friends. Welcome to Thumb Together TV. My name is Andrew Fantasia, and today we're going to be talking about Succession Season 2, Episode 10, This Is Not for Tears, Together. As usual, if you enjoyed this video, please feel free to give it a thumbs up and give some love to that subscribe button as well. And if you're a fan of books, be sure to pick up my book, Side Scroller, on Amazon. That's my book. That's me, Andrew Fantasia. I wrote this. Side Scroller is a romance sci-fi set in a world that runs on the logic of video games. And again, you can pick this up in paperback or ebook on Amazon.com. But enough shameless self-promotion. It's time to talk about the Roy family, who never do anything shameless at all. That's a lie. Season finales to great shows are always a spectacular event. Like, I can think of dozens off the bat here where I am just floored all the time by the way these talented writers from shows of all across every genre can cap off a season with such a powerful firecracker of an episode and just leave us starved for more. And Succession Season 2, Episode 10 is totally in the same vein. Because of where we left off last week, the Roys needed a blood sacrifice in order to clean up this gigantic mess that Uncle Mo Lester left behind with his busy hands on the cruise lines. And the shareholders have told Logan that they think he is the best skull to serve up at the altar. But of course, Logan is all about self-preservation. Even though the man is 81 years old now, I don't know how much longer he expects to be running this company, he is going to apparently try to take it with him. So Logan is all about survival. He is going to offer up any other skull he can, even if one of those skulls belongs to his own children. And therein we get the yacht trip to end all yacht trips. Probably literally in this case, where the Roys hop on board the most gigantic luxury ocean liner I have ever seen in my life, cruising around the Mediterranean and deciding which of them is going to be offered as sacrifice. And the entire executive board is there too. So you've got a chunky group of people on this yacht waiting to see who's going to get voted off the island like some kind of grisly reality show. And you know it's only a matter of time before Logan makes his choice. That was my favorite aspect of this whole episode, was the tension where, yes, you're in this beautiful environment and people are having fun and sliding down into the water and sunbathing and drinking mimosas and getting pedicures, and it's all well and good. But then you gotta remember there's this whole underlying reason that everybody's on this yacht in the first place, and that's because Logan's trying to find a good place to stick a knife. And because of that, we get one of the most entertaining 66 minutes of television ever, where this whole group of folks, family and executives alike, are enjoying one another's company while at the same time trying to figure out who best to point the finger to detract the attention from them when the time comes. But of course, it's not all fun and games, and we get some moments that are pretty hard to watch, not because they were of poor quality, but because emotionally they really kind of are a chore to get through. And I mean that in the best possible way. And the scene that comes to mind the most for me is the most heartfelt scene we may have ever gotten in all of Succession, and that's the scene between Tom and Siobhan. Because for the first time ever, Tom is laying his emotional cards on the table, and they are very damaged cards. Tom is greedy, and he's manipulative, and he's an opportunist and a coward, and he's kind of a douchebag. But Shiv is no saint either, and she did a pretty rotten thing on their wedding night by dropping the bombshell on him that she wanted this marriage to remain an open relationship so that she could be free to see other people. And Tom initially agreed to it because he loves her, but then there's this whole internal thing going on where over the months and however long it's been since the wedding, that's eating away at him. You don't tell your spouse on your wedding night that you would like to have an open relationship. This is something you should have discussed before you put a ring on it. And Tom calls her out on this and basically says, Shiv, this was a rotten thing to do. I feel horrible. I've felt horrible since we've been married. And frankly, if we were to split up, I would feel pretty bad because I love you, but I don't think I would feel as bad as I feel right now when I'm with you. Ouch. For Tom to wear all this on his sleeve like this, that's a big deal. And Siobhan has obviously never seen Tom express himself in that way. We got little tidbits of it throughout the season where we saw Tom being angry when Shiv was picking on him and bullying him. We saw Tom kind of blank-faced and hiding his sadness when it was clear that Shiv was sleeping with another guy while he was away doing work for her. We always see Tom bottling things up or sort of detracting or reacting to things, but not in the way a stable person should. This is the first time Tom has acted emotionally like a stable, healthy person, even though he's expressing the fact that he's not feeling very emotionally healthy at all. And Siobhan is so moved by this and stunned at this sudden burst of sincerity that's coming her way, because you don't get a whole lot of sincerity on Succession, folks. So this is such a shock to her system that she goes out of her way to talk to her dad and be like, whoever you're going to serve up, please don't let it be Tom. You know, serve up Kendall. Kendall's more powerful. He's a better candidate. At least that's what she seemed to be aiming for. But her message was clear that she just did not want Tom to be the one to take the fall. Logan notices this and is disappointed. During the lunch meeting, when everybody starts throwing accusations around the table, which, by the way, is one of the most fun scenes I've ever watched, and I'd love to act out that scene one day. When the fingers start pointing at Jerry, we see Roman perk up. And every time somebody says Jerry's name when she's not around, Roman perks up, because as we have seen throughout this season, Roman and Jerry kind of have a thing going on. At this point, I'm not sure how platonic or romantic or sexual it is. It seems to kind of straddle all three lines in a very sweet and simultaneously vulgar way, but it is a genuine relationship between two people who genuinely seem to like each other. So when fingers get pointed Jerry's way, Roman adamantly sticks up for her. Again, Logan notices this and is disappointed. Then you have Connor, who's dealing with this whole fallout from Willa's play, getting bad reviews. I get a huge Citizen Kane vibe from this. When Charles Foster Kane wants his wife to perform opera, she's not getting great reviews, but he wants to lean on his newspaper folks and make sure that they get the good reviews. Connor's trying to do the same thing, talking to his dad, trying to ask him to get the newspapers to go easy on the play, asking for $100 million just so he can keep himself afloat. Connor's not in a great place. He's trying to protect himself, but he's also concerned about protecting Willa. Logan notices this and is disappointed. Finally, we have Kendall. Kendall seems like he was having a great time in his on-again, off-again relationship here with Naomi Pierce. He even brings her on the yacht, but when Logan demands that she go, Kendall obeys and sends her on her way. Kendall is in this episode, as he has always been throughout all of season 2, which is a broken, hollow puppet for Logan Roy. Splashes of his humanity pop out every now and then, but otherwise, he's completely under Logan's thumb. And when that heartbreaking moment comes, guys, when Logan finally makes his decision and he calls Kendall into that dimly lit, ominous office and talks about the Aztecs making sacrifice, whenever anybody references something that ancient cultures did, you know that they're about to do it, and you gotta just brace yourself. Lex Luthor did it all the time on Smallville. But he starts talking about the Aztecs and how they would sacrifice their kids to make the sun rise, and he basically uses that as a springboard to say, Kendall, I'm going to make you take the fall. I want you to call a press conference. I want you to go up there in front of the whole world and say, I, Kendall Roy, am responsible. I knew all about the shenanigans going on at Parks and Cruises, and I did nothing to stop it. I kept this information from my family for my own personal interests. I take the blame. Waystar Royco does not condone my actions. Do with me what you will. And Kendall, as he has been doing all season, agrees and says, yes, Daddy, I will do this. But you can see now that Kendall is finally starting to crack, that puppet is finally starting to have his strings pulled just a little too tightly for his liking, and he's gripping those sunglasses of his, and he asks his father, was there ever a chance for me? Was there ever a chance for me to run the company? And Logan gives him a Logan answer, where at first he's just like, oh, I don't, never thought about it. But when he gives his full answer, he basically says to Kendall, no, because you are not a killer. To do what I do, you need to be a killer. And I'm going to admit, as this happened, I was thinking, oh my God, Kendall's literally going to kill him right now. They're alone in this room. He's an old man. He's going to do something. There's going to be a struggle. Logan is not leaving this room alive. That's where my head was going. But it took a different turn. In a very Corleone-esque way, Kendall nods his head and says, okay, Dad. And he gives his dad a kiss on the cheek, and he leaves that room and owns up to everything and tells the family, okay, I'm the fall guy. And even though everybody else was busy sticking up for their significant others, they feel bad for Kendall. I think. Roman definitely does. Roman looks at Logan and is like, seriously, Dad? You're going to kick him again while he's down? You can tell Roman is pissed at this decision. Siobhan is a blank slate. I can't tell if she's genuinely sorry about this or if she's relieved about Tom. I think it's a mixture of everything, but she's hard to read. And then finally, the tables turn because Kendall walks into that press conference with his cue cards in his hand and he sits down and he starts to explain what's going on. And then he stops and says, but. And everybody watching just sat up a little straighter and went, wait a minute, what's the but? And Kendall delivers the sucker punch where he says, my father is responsible for all of this. He throws his dad under the bus and says Logan Roy is a malevolent force in this company and needs to be stopped. I think his reign is over, and I'm going to see to it that it ends sooner rather than later. Everybody watching is absolutely flabbergasted. Logan Roy notices this, and for the first time in this episode, he's not disappointed. As the episode ends, on Logan's expression, the man, as we have known him for these 2 seasons, has never looked prouder of one of his children. And that is frickin' horrifying. He has just watched Kendall become a killer, and rather than be furious that he is the target, Logan Roy is beaming because finally he sees on that screen, he sees his son and he's thinking, there he is. There is the person who is going to run Waystar Royco after I die. There he is. I've been looking everywhere, and he's finally here. That is so haunting and beautifully written and so true to his character that I just gotta give it one of these. I mean, I just gotta go right here and give it one of these because that's outstanding television right there. And Brian Cox has always been a fantastic actor, but that shot, he takes it to a whole other level. Fun fact that I learned, I was trying to figure out what the title of this episode means. This is not for tears, because nobody said it throughout the entire thing. So I'm like, what's going on here? Turns out it's from a poem. There's a poem called Dream Song 29 by a guy named John Berryman. And in this poem is the line, this is not for tears. As I was reading the poem, though, I noticed something really, really cool. Season 1's finale was called Nobody Is Ever Missing. That line is also from the exact same poem. Season 3's finale, I have to wonder, is it hiding in that poem somewhere? Is the name of that finale hiding in those stanzas? My bet is yes, but we'll get there when we get there. So what's going to happen? What is going to happen in Season 3? What do I think is going to happen? Well, but if I had to make a guess here, I'd say that Season 3 is going to be the true war between Kendall and Logan that was teased in Season 1. And I feel like, I don't know how, but I feel like Season 3 will be about Kendall getting his siblings on his side. When I initially walked away from this episode, I thought that all the other siblings were in on this and they knew what was going to happen. But in hindsight now, I don't think that's the case. I think the only person that Kendall told was Greg, because Greg is there on the plane with him flashing those papers. So I think that going into Season 3, you're going to have Team Kendall and Greg, and they are slowly but surely going to be pulling everybody else to their side, because Succession has always been about, as the apparent lyrics to its theme song, which I just learned existed on Twitter now, frequently state, all the rich white people are going to argue and whoever wins is going to get a kiss from Daddy. That is the main thesis of Succession. It's all been about, I want to make Daddy proud and get a kiss and a pat on the head. But you got to turn the story on its head at some point, and I think that's what Season 3 is for. I feel like Season 3 might be the final season, too. I just get that vibe. So I think Season 3 is going to be about Kendall taking everybody else, taking Shiv, Connor, Roman, Tom, all of them away from that mindset of like, ooh, Logan Roy, please love me, please notice me, please be proud of me, taking them away and saying, come to my side, we're going to do our own thing and we're going to leave Logan alone and isolated and with nobody vying for his attention. Because guess what? He doesn't even have his wife anymore. Marsha gone. She's split. She's not on the yacht. Who knows where she is? She's probably writing up a fat, juicy divorce settlement with her lawyer as we speak. Logan is alone. Day by day, he is more and more alone. And I think that by the end of Season 3, he is going to be the only person in an island of self-pity and bitterness that he has built for himself. That's where I think Season 3 is going. It is slowly pulling all of these lost souls away from worshiping at the altar of Logan Roy to building their own religion. But guys, that is Succession Season 2. Holy crap. we got here. We got to the end. This is exciting. It's bittersweet. I'm so grateful to all of you who've been watching along with me all season. Thank you so much for watching me blab on about this absolutely wonderful show that I can't get enough of. I'm a big fan of HBO shows, though. I am. I love HBO shows. Westworld is like my favorite show on TV next to Succession right now. So I'm obviously going to be talking about Westworld Season 3 whenever it comes out. When Succession Season 3 comes, join me. We'll be talking about that again. But there's two big shows coming out on HBO this year that I'm also going to cover. We got Watchmen by Damon Lindelof, who made Lost, which is my favorite show of all time. And we got His Dark Materials, based on the Philip Pullman novels. HBO is cranking both of those out this year. Watchmen we're getting, I think, next week. His Dark Materials is coming out closer to Christmas time. I'm going to be covering those both on this channel, as well as Disney Plus shows like The Mandalorian and all that, but that's a whole other thing. But if you're an HBO fan, which you obviously are, because you're watching this, stick around. You don't have to go anywhere because Succession's over. I'm going to be talking about those shows. I'm going to be talking about movies that are coming out, other TV programs. Trust me, we got plenty to discuss here. So put your feet up, get comfy, put on some coffee, and don't go nowhere, because here on the Andrew Fantasia channel, we, like Kendall Roy, are just getting started, baby. Thanks for watching my review of Succession. This is Not for Tears. I'm Andrew Fantasia, and you are awesome. See you next time, folks. Adios.